The Village of Hainesville regular board meeting will now come to order at 7:02 p.m. on September 11, 2012. If everybody would please rise in a moment for the Pledge of Allegiance, I just want to say that immediately following there will be a moment of silence. This is to honor and in remembrance of all the victims and families and friends of the 9/11/2001 terrorist attacks.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Linda Soto.
Present.
Trustees Zieranowski is absent. Kreis.
Here.
Huberstein. Here. Barrett.
Here.
Daley.
Here.
And Washington.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. I received word from Trustee Zieranowski that he's under the weather this evening. Before we move ahead, I just want to quickly point out, hopefully everybody saw that we have quite a nice memorial vehicle outside, thanks to the courtesy of Don Otto. Don, please stand up. This vehicle, I have a plaque that Don provided us some time ago. It's dedicated to 343 firefighters, 23 New York PD officers, and 37 Port Authority officers who gave their life in the line of duty. We will never forget. He also had assistance with paint with R&M Auto Body and Round Lake Park, graphics, on-call graphics in McHenry, Illinois, Village of Hainesville, and Fine Line Automotive of Hainesville, Illinois. And Don is very talented, and it is a beautiful memorial car. So if you haven't had a chance to look at it, I encourage you to take a peek before it pulls away. It's been going around the area, and we had it at Hainesville Fest as well. So Don, thank you for bringing that here tonight. And could I have a motion for approval of tonight's agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Kreis.
Aye.
Huberstein. Aye. Barrett.
Aye.
Daley.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, at this time, before we move on to public comments, it's an exciting evening, I think, for the Village of Hainesville because we have our new police chief here, Phil Perlini. If you attended, okay, we're going to focus and get back on track with our meeting, but I encourage all of you in the audience, please, if you need more cake, there's plenty here. Phil, take some cake home to your family after you do your report, and that ought to heal them.
We'll see. I know it's going to be right now.
Okay, at this time we take public comments. The clerk has not received any cards. Those who are wishing to make public comments should have filled out a card in the back with your name and address. Is there anybody that wanted to make a public comment to the board? Going, gone. Okay, with that we'll move on to our omnibus vote agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Kreis.
Aye.
Huberstein. Barrett.
Aye.
Daley.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, and I'm very excited to move on to our reports and communication from the mayor and other officers, and we're going to start with our new chief of police, Chief Perlini. And we got a mic there for you.
Okay. First thing, I guess we'll look into this the traffic report that we were checking out here. It's a pretty thick report, but what it is this. When you look at all the graphs and everything, you see that there, in almost every single one of these, there's at least one vehicle going 50 miles an hour at some point in a 25-mile-an-hour zone, which is unacceptable. One car, 10 cars, obviously the more cars, the more unacceptable, but even one person doing that is unacceptable. What I'm going to try to do is get Sergeant Burns from the police department out here. We'll see if we can hit the area with a couple of speed trailers, and then we'll do monitoring. We do speed trailers for normally about 2 weeks. Then we do monitoring, actual squad cars out there. We have a couple of unmarked cars that we could use that people may not recognize them as police cars that we can use for that purpose, and we can go after some of these people once we figure out a pattern. Somebody traveling 50, 55 miles an hour, 25-mile-an-hour zone is something that's very upsetting. My guess is that it's somebody trying to get around the 120 Hainesville, issue, the 120 Hainesville road, and trying to cut it off through there. I've driven through there quite a few times myself, just getting familiar with the town, and I can say that the 25 miles an hour is plenty fast. Anything over that, you're kind of, you're getting out there 30 miles an hour is almost outlandish in those areas. Although since it's posted at 25, we probably would be right there going to 35.
You're on YouTube, G.
Well, we certainly will be stopping you. May not be right, but you're going to get stopped. There's a lot of talking here about the 85th percentile. My concern is the 15% left over. And those 15% are mostly over, not under the speed limit. And that's what we aim to sort out here and take care of. I don't know if you've noticed the increased patrols lately. Last month, I know we've had a lot more patrol hours in here than normal. And we plan to keep that up. We plan to keep up the saturation. The other thing I wanted to point out about this report is that a lot of these totals were from July, middle of July, which is normally sort of a slower time. People are on vacation, traffic's not as bad. I'd like to try to do this study again, maybe in mid-October or something, and see what we come up with for numbers, see if the numbers are still comparable. And I'd like to keep it up for more than a 24-hour period and see if we can.
Yeah, and on that note, I just want to clarify for the public that, the chief just officially came on board the end of July. This study was started and talked about in spring. It was done over the summer because of a few complaints we had. And so the Grace Lake Public Works Department went out and put out the traffic monitoring equipment. So it is a tool, but it's a tool, a report that's been handed to the chief. It is a good report, it's useful, but as he said, I think he would like to see things done a little differently, so they'll use it as a starting point. I think he'll be continuing to take a look at the traffic.
Right. I think we'll monitor it a three more times, see if the results are significantly different, and if they are, which I'm going to guess that there's going to be, you might not have a significantly higher speeds, but what you may have is significantly more traffic. Especially as school starts and everything, things get even more banked up on 120. And now I'm even seeing it on Saturdays and things. That's getting so banked up that people aren't going around. So I'm in the area. I drive through town twice a day, at least. So you may not see me in a police car, but I'm in my personal car, my motorcycle, or whatever. I like to ride through the town and see what's going on, see if I can catch my guys doing their job in here, which I quite often do. So it's a nice thing. It's a nice tool for me to go back and forth. But I do know that any parent, anybody that buys a house in the neighborhood is always looking forward to traffic that's moving slowly or responsibly. And any parent with a kid playing in the yard, and your first thought is, is somebody driving down the street that fast is going to kill somebody. And that's our first thought too. So we're going to do what we can to prevent that. And we'll be out there. We're going to conduct this. I think we're going to try to mirror this study on a couple more days. and see where we go with it. And like I say, we'll let the speed cards out in various locations, and then we'll follow that up with some heavy enforcement, so that's how we'll go.
Chief, any thoughts or ideas on kind of monitoring the bus stops? Because now that winter is approaching, some of the bus stops, like over in my neighborhood, over on White Lane and Bighorn, at 6:30, 6:15 in the morning, we got 25, 30 teenagers out there. And my kids have come back to me and complained to me saying that people aren't paying attention to the stop signs. And, you know, I don't know about what your policies and thoughts are on school buses and stop arm enforcement, but I think it's a big part of safety for the kids getting out of the buses. That corner alone between the high schoolers early in the morning and the elementary school, at any given time when the bus is ready to go, there's a minimum of 25 to 30 kids in that corner. Just, you know, I don't know what you have, what your plan is in place, but it's something I want to bring to your attention.
Well, definitely a priority. We obviously get the same complaints from some neighborhoods in Grays Lake. We're trying to keep an eye on it. We do have a sergeant that specializes in traffic, but all our officers do enforcement. And as I say, we may be out there, but we may not be out there in marked vehicles.
Oh, no, I understand that.
So we are taking a look at that. We just finished an area in Grays Lake where, you know, I don't know if anybody knows the penalty on that, but that's a pretty stiff penalty when you get a ticket for that. I believe it's a mandatory driver's license suspension.
Mandatory suspension,
$500 fine. So, and nobody plays around with it. There's no cleaning those down, pretty much in Lake County. So, when we write tickets for that, you know, we take it pretty serious, and so should the drivers take it pretty serious.
I'm still watching them go past the buses on Hainesville Road.
Oh yeah, it happens. It happens.
It
It happens, there's no doubt about it, but, you know, eventually, hopefully, everybody gets caught at one time or another. I know another tool, and I'm not sure if the bus companies have this employed here or not yet, but in Cook County anyway, the bus companies that were servicing Glenview, we had papers that they could fill out. They called out license plate number of a violator to their bus dispatcher, and then filled out the form, sent it to the police department, and we followed up by contacting the driver. And if the bus driver was willing to swear out a complaint, we would write a ticket. So I would certainly like to look into something like that for this kind of area too, because I know in the mornings there's a lot of violators, especially, you know, we say they were working on 120, and people were in droves up to every neighborhood they could to get to watch, only to be at a standstill there too. So a lot of frustration, a lot of driving, and a lot of fast driving through neighborhoods.
I'm commuting to Glenview every day for the next 9 weeks, 5 days a week. So.
Are you really?
Yeah. Just
Good luck with it.
Just down the street from my job. So.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it's really big.
Yeah, leave at 5:30 in the morning at the latest, and
That's right.
come home at 7 o'clock at night.
If you're running by 6, you're screwed.
Yeah,
Be there at 7. Yep.
definitely. But the stop arm violations are very serious, and I will put it on as a priority to contact the bus companies and see what sort of program they have going on, and see if they can get back to us on that kind of thing, because we will follow up on it. As long as we have a license plate number, you know, 90% of the time we can contact a driver, especially if it's somebody in the area and personally contact them, which is always sends a pretty clear message.
Majority of it is local people just in a hurry. I understand. All right, thank you, Chief.
Okay.
Also, just to add, Trustee Crease submitted a public safety article, and one of the things it talks about is school bus and violations. So that will be in the newsletter that's going out. And I would like to say to our residents out there that, you know, the speeding that I also see, particularly in the afternoon when the school bus is around, there are some moms and dads that are rushing home. And I know you got to get to that bus to meet your child, but make sure you leave work on time, or call a neighbor and say, I'm late. Don't speed, because I see parents speeding home. So that goes on as well. With that, again, Chief, we welcome you. I know we'll be seeing and hearing a lot of good things from you. We're very excited to have you on board. We're not going to expect you to sit through our meeting all night, especially if you have a sick family at home. Of course, you're welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to